I would love to have some professors to try to read my name out loud, but I also realize that even if they try to do so, I don't know they're calling my name. It's just so different from the name that I'm so used to. I have the hardest name to pronounce in the world.
The written one, the written Chinese name, we won't use it.
That's a really good question.
Maybe when we're signing some document. And to be honest, since I'm here, uh, about signing my name, I usually just sign it as Dexin Chen, but not actually Chinese character. So this past 6 years, I haven't had a chance to actually write my name here.
Imagine living in a country where no one uses your name when they address you because they simply cannot pronounce it. Or that someone calls you, but you don't even know it because you don't recognize it as your name. Some of you probably identify with the problem we are going to talk about today. Many of the more than 40 million overseas Chinese could relate to the project by two Chinese designers. My Name is a Painting and a Melody is not only a remarkable design, it also has an educational value, building the foundations for making a lasting change. In addition, it is an excellently thought out and planned project, which is worth following. Although I really wanted to introduce my speakers today, every time I tried, it came out rather miserably. So I asked them to introduce themselves. I can speak for myself though. I am Anya Konopatska, and you are listening to Laka Perspectives.
My official name is Zixuan. It's a really hard Chinese name to pronounce, as you may realize. So I also have a preferred name. I go by Polly as well. I am a graphic designer and a visual artist currently based in Berkeley, New York. I'm originally from China, and we together, me with my friend Dexin here, we made this project and which addresses name and its pronunciations and why we value it so much.
My Chinese name is Dexin, and I usually go by Leah. And I'm also a graphic designer based in Brooklyn, and I've been in New York for the past 6 years. And we together, me and Polly, made this project. My name is a painting and a melody to address the mispronunciation this situation in the Western society.
I think I'm seeing where you are going, but I want to get back to your names. It is really intriguing that you both have Western names in use, in regular use. Why so?
If we have a name that is really easy to pronounce, we wouldn't really came out with a so-called preferred name from the start. I came to the US 2 years ago for art education for my MFA program at Pratt Institute. As soon as I was here, I realized that most professors they will ask if you have a preferred name because there are a lot of Chinese students in at Pratt, and they realize that some Chinese people's name are really hard to pronounce, and I am one of them. I have the hardest name to pronounce in the world.
I agree.
And I would love to have some professors to try to read my name out loud, but I also realize that even if they try to do so, I don't know they're calling my name. It's just so different from the name that I'm so used to. So I just said, okay, then I do have another name which I had back in China in my English classes. I also go by Paul. You can just call me that, and that actually made things much easier and much smoother.
And what about Dishin and Leah?
Yeah, I share similar experience with Polly. And as you know, my Chinese name is Dexin, and I think the X is poses a certain challenge for other people to say. Like, so they usually call me Dexin, which I thought at first it's pretty cool because, but I know they're calling me, so I'm kind of just okay with it. But yeah, I agree with Polly. If it's easier to pronounce, I probably won't come up with a preferred name.
Okay, so I guess this is how you have started to talk about your project. My name is a painting and a melody, right? Can you tell me something more about the roots?
After, I guess after we graduated, me and Leah, we had this conversation in my bedroom that about our experiences back in Pratt, and we just came up with this topic that our names was is so hard to pronounce that there are some really funny stories around it. And we, since we share such experience of having a really hard name to pronounce, and the experience of also having a preferred name, we have two names, so to speak. And around that idea, we thought that since we have the similar experience, since we know that our experience probably represents a lot of people who are experiencing the same in the world, we just thought, why don't we put into a project that really addresses the importance of our names, how we value it, how we really want to have them pronounced right, but it's just so hard in terms of cultural issues. Yeah, that's the beginning of our project.
I know that you have conducted quite detailed interviews to prepare for the project. And as you have told me before, you are still interviewing more and more people. And one of your questions is, how do your interviewees feel when their name is mispronounced? Could you name some of these emotions, maybe also from your own experience?
Through our interviews, some people might feel they're okay with it. Probably they've been through a lot, but some people have a certain anger towards it. So because they feel that it's not who they are, probably.
Yeah, in general, we feel there's a range between. We find it is actually okay to. I'm. We're actually pretty angry about it. There's a range about it. The emotions include anger, uncomfortable. Sometimes people will also find it hilarious because the way other people are reading their names are just funny, or there are some funny anecdotes about that. And some people just feel it's actually okay, we are accepting it. We do realize we are immigrants in this country, so I accept what's been happening. And there's actually a difference according to how difficult this name it really is for people here to pronounce. For example, me and Leah, we have really hard name to pronounce, but for some people, their names are actually pretty easy to pronounce correctly.
What are
So,
the examples of easy Chinese names?
say there's say Li Na.
Lina,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a really easy name to pronounce.
or Chen Xi.
not that easy.
Oh, okay,
Chenxi,
sorry.
Not that easy, but you can
uh,
see there's levels of
of
difficulty around
yes.
that, which really would bring totally different experience to different people.
Yeah, and our goal is not actually to trying to make everyone like pronounce it really, really correctly, but rather like share some of our experiences and the story behind the interviewers and the participants to the society.
and what do you think is happening on the other side? I mean, do you think this mispronunciation of Chinese names is rather unintentional because of their lack of knowledge, or maybe it is rooted in some prejudices? I know it is also a question in your interview, but I would like to know, how do you feel about it and why?
I think it's more like a different cultural background. So, for example, in English, like certain character they pronounce it differently, right? So they don't have the habits and a certain knowledge of how it will be pronounced in Chinese or in other countries. So for me, at least the people that I've encountered before, mostly it's just a lack of knowledge that I'll say. But certainly, I'm sure that there are other circumstances, such as more extreme, like racism or things like that.
I think the ignorance of the knowledge of Chinese names also can sometimes lead to microaggression. For example, I do feel that when our names are can be easily mistaken between to another people's name if we have similar pronunciations or similar last names. Some Chinese names are just look exactly the similar to some people, and from my personal experience, I experienced something like my name is mistaken for some other people's name, and I then got the right email from my professor, and also some of my friends also experienced they are being ignored because having Chinese names in the classes. So I guess there's different attitudes towards Chinese names from people to people. What we really care about is that I think if this person really cares about you and he wants to know you, he would put effort into getting to know you, not only how to pronounce your name, but also about what's the meaning behind your name, what character do you have as a person. I think that really makes a difference.
And this action is what we actually appreciate and value the most.
Thanks for the introduction to my next question. I'm getting to the title of your project. Could you explain me what does it mean that your name is a painting and a melody?
Because we think that Chinese is really beautiful and it has a three-dimensional characteristic of it, and it has a certain rhythm, certain tones, and certain emotion if you want to add to it. So that's why we came up with a rather poetic name for it.
Chinese language system has two separate systems. One is this pictorial writing system, and another one is phonetic system. So since its pictorial writing system is derived from paintings, it's derived from how each Chinese character actually represents a simplified painting of an object. So that's the part. My name is a painting, and also it is also a melody in terms of its phonetic system. It is different from its writing system, but it is also beautiful, and it involves different tones, different bowls and pitches, and which would make it sound like melody. That's how it get its name.
Yes, and different syllables with different tones also can convey different meanings. Add to what Polly said. So it has a lot of layers in Chinese character. You can also think of it as depth and width and height. As Polly said, in English, words are typically made up of letters, right? But in Chinese, characters have more complex components, and these components can provide hints about characters' meaning and pronunciation. Chinese characters can also often be understood within the context of other characters. And the third one is just the tonal characteristic of it.
Your project is a platform. Can you explain how the platform works?
For now, it's still a concept of a platform. So hopefully in the future, we will actually launch it.
Yeah, it's a platform. Ideally, as a user, if you go to it, you can choose a certain character, Chinese character that you will try to pronounce, and you can when you are pronouncing it and you hit record, and you can see that the animation on the left side of the website shows you if you are reading it correctly or mistakenly, and different pronunciations, different ways of reading it would trigger different animations, and which would indicate the how indicate how you are reading it, and you can also compare it with other people's reading to find out the right pronunciation of it.
And how does My Name is a Painting and a Melody aim to raise awareness about the mispronunciation of Chinese names?
So we're planning to have an exhibition and also a book about this project. And within this project, we will add some history and cultural background about Chinese and Chinese character, and also include the content that we interview of all the participants and share their story and their perspective of this certain situation.
And hopefully, from our project, we can get more people to understand and or say be aware of the complexity of Chinese language systems and also the beauty of it. And more importantly, we want people to have to embrace their identity. When you say if you have a difficult name to pronounce and you are bothered by it, we want to also share this courage with them. And also we want to value the meaning behind each Chinese characters, the beautiful meanings behind our names to people as well.
Because I guess you don't have many occasions, many chances to show the beauty, for example, of your written Chinese name, right? You are usually using the American alphabet, the Latin alphabet, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
When would you use your original Chinese name, the written one?
The written one, the written Chinese name, we won't use it
That's a very
when
good question.
maybe when we're signing some document.
The fact is that in American society, we don't really have the chance to
Yes.
use our written names. We just know as our anglicized names, which is we found is flattened from our original names, and it's not really equals to our original names.
And to be honest, since I'm here, about signing my name, I usually just sign it as Dexin, but not actually Chinese character. So this past 6 years, I haven't had a chance to actually write my name here. So that is my situation.
Yeah, similar.
I'm really impressed and glad that I had the chance to know the background of your project. Who did what in the project?
So at first we do the ideations and all the ideas and brainstorming together. And during the process, Polly is an excellent 3D and motion designer. So she will take more charge about this part. And then we also like share most of the responsibility together. So
Yeah, Leah also designed the majority of the website layouts as well, and I also made a video about it.
Is there any story that you can recall and mention here that was the most meaningful during working on the project? Maybe it was something that brought some tears to your eyes, or maybe it was just very, very funny. If you could share anything.
To be honest, it educates me myself a lot, even though I'm Chinese, but there's so much more about this language that I don't know. So for that, I think me and we did the right decision about digging more into our own culture.
And it really brought us to the beauty of um, typography, doing typography with two different language.
Yes.
Because as our students educated in the US, the education we will receive in terms of graphic design typography is really just about English language system. And this is the first time we are trying to to break from that and also try to embrace the beauty of Chinese typography, which is a totally different system from the English typography system. And as typographers who are obsessed with this topic, we are gaining more knowledge and more interest in this, and also we enjoy doing this together and share the knowledge we found through the path.
And not only about the pronunciation, the sound perspective of it, but also like Polly said, the typography, the calligraphy, and all the structure about the Chinese character, as in terms of graphic design perspective, in a design perspective. Yeah.
Can you share also some feedback that you got from friends or your professors about the project?
I have some really fun, really inspiring feedback from my friends who are also my interviewees. A lot of friends really loved our projects and they enjoy our conversation when we were doing the interview. And some friends were even saying that can we like have an open conversation about this, because she also wants to hear other people's opinions, not just she herself answering all those questions by alone. She wants to know what other people are thinking about, and that is the first time we ever thought about. Probably we should let more people know about our project, and probably we can have more people talk about this, because this topic should be talked about. We should have more people involve more people to um, contribute their thinkings to our project, and that's probably the next step we will expand in exploring.
Yeah, so the add-on part is that I feel like we kind of also form or bring people together and form a little bit of like a small community.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting, I think.
That's beautiful what you have just said. This is also what we at the Design Educates Awards are aiming to, just to build a community of people that really care and want to bring the change. So I'm really glad you have said that. So what's the next step?
The next step, we will have more research, no matter it's like secondary research or hands-on experience, and we will also conduct more interview with the participants. And the last phrase is that we will start to construct ideas about the books and actually execute it.
Yeah, we are now focusing on gathering the content for the book.
Yes.
We want to make a book. We want to make its content more as comprehensive as possible for the stage, and also probably later we'll put it into an exhibition showing our design process and the way, and also think about the way people can interact with it.
We at Design Educates Awards and Laka Perspectives are keeping our fingers crossed for the success of all Polly's and Leah's projects. Thank you for the interview, and to the listeners, thank you for your audience. Zushin,
Something
That
like
sounds
that.
much better to me.
Zushin,
Xuan.
Zushin,
Okay, that sounds.
Zu, Zushin, and Dushin.
Yeah, 德行.
Dushin,
Yeah.
Dushin,
That's pretty much it. Okay.
That's really good.
Yes.
Zushin, Zushin,
If you pronounce 子 instead of 祖, that
Zushin.
That's yeah. I think
Okay.
that's better.
Zixuan,
Yeah.
Sh- uh, sh-
Shun,
Xuan.
Xuan